What's up, guys? It's TechnoViking23 coming to you today with some Raid Shadow Legends, and we are back in the Minotaur dungeon doing some speed runs today, but with more of a budget-friendly team. One of the complaints I do get a lot when I showcase my 8-second team is that I have Ithos and I have Septimus, and those are really hard to get legendaries, and not everybody has them. So I wanted to work on a team that could still do this relatively quickly, not quite as fast as the 8 seconds. That's a pretty quick run. As far as I know, it's the second fastest in existence per the Raid Shadow Legends leaderboards Discord. I'm sure a lot of people have an 8-second team, but no one else has posted it, so that's the only thing I can really go off of here. But it's a very quick team. It's a very fast team for farming. It gets Mastery Scrolls done very quickly, but I know a lot of people are not going to have those legendary champions to access that. So I wanted to kind of go for a lower budget option here. What actually inspired this was I was working on my free-to-play account and trying to get a faster Minotaur team because my free-to-play account is now entering late game, and I still have like a minute 30 Minotaur team, and I'm just like, this is not going to work because it's a lot more important to be able to farm efficiently on a free-to-play account, and having to run Minotaur 15 in a minute 30 to 2 minutes is just not good for farming scrolls quickly. So I wanted to go ahead and try to get a quicker team in there, and that kind of led to this team that I made here on my main account, which we have 2 Royal Guards here, we have Infernal Baroness, we have War Maiden. It's just those 4 champs that you're going to be used for this. We'll go over the AI presets and everything closer to the end of the video, but basically you have both of your Royal Guards coming to Wave 3 and using their big time nuke. Infernal Baroness is just going to throw out damage on her A1 and her A2, and then we have War Maiden for our decreased defense. One of the cool things about AI presets is it's made champions like Infernal Baroness have a little better use in the game now. You can turn off her A3, which is a single target veil, and then she can use just her A1 and her A2, which are AoE damage attacks. Her A2 actually hits very, very hard as a nuke, which is really nice. And one of the interesting things you're going to see here, though, is that my Infernal Baroness on my free-to-play account actually hits harder than the one on my main that you're seeing right now, because I have a Great Hall level 10 force defense on my free-to-play because I use Rosin in Clan Boss. But on my main account, I only have a level 7 defense on force, so it's kind of funny to see that I actually have an Infernal Baroness with better build on this account, but she actually hits a lot worse than my one on the free-to-play, so it's kind of funny. But you see here, it's right around 30 seconds, pretty good. Sometimes you're going to get a little faster run or a little bit of a slower run, but it's basically a pretty good 30-second farm team. And you can use this and go in and farm your scrolls, that way you don't have to spend your gems. But just in general, we wanted to kind of showcase a team that didn't require the big legendary hitters, like the Ithos or the Septimus. And I'm actually thinking about also using Husk as an alternative. I do have a Husk on my free-to-play that I can use for the enemy max HP once we get to the boss. I just haven't finished his build out just yet. I'm working on him for Hydra as well on that account. But it's kind of cool. You can just come in here with 2 epics, actually 3 epics with Infernal Baroness, and then War Maiden is the rare that you do get from the campaign. So pretty easy to build this team. Honestly, the gear's not that great, as you'll see later on. It's kind of like, later game gear, but it's not amazing gear by any means. Some of them are even broken sets. I think only one of my Royal Guards is in an actual Savage set, so I wish I had better Savage gear, but unfortunately it's been tough to farm Fire Knight to get that. It just doesn't seem to want to drop for me a lot of the times. But you'll see here, this run we're on currently is going to be a little bit slower because it gets a little bit out of tune sometimes. The War Maiden doesn't get the lead off with her decreased defense, which means it's going to take a little bit longer to get the boss down. But usually if she can come out and open with that fairly early, then we get the big target damage attacks in. We're still at 34 seconds, which is still pretty solid. Pretty good, respectable run there. We're going to reload and go again here. We're just going to get in a bunch of runs here. I just want to kind of just demonstrate by doing all these runs that you can get this down to a pretty consistent time, which is going to help you get to those scrolls a little bit quicker. But again, you're just going to have AoEs coming out from Infernal Baroness, basically. Now here we lead off with the decreased defense, so you can see how much damage we do that much more quickly to the Minotaur. So this is going to be a pretty quick one here. We're going to get this at almost 20 seconds, which is pretty awesome. So that's the thing. If you get better gear, you'll be able to actually get this, I think, actually down closer to and maybe under 20 seconds, which would be a pretty good farm, not using any crazy champions. Now, this is my free-to-play account here. This is where I was kind of tinkering with this earlier. I wanted to show some of the footage there. But you can see we're doing the same thing. We got Infernal Baroness. I only have 1 Royal Guard on the free-to-play account, so that kind of limits what we can do there in terms of the single target nuking. But we brought him in. We've got a Cold Heart in, And we have our Cold Heart hold off on using her Heartseeker until she goes once. That way we know the minions are dead, because Cold Heart's AI is really bad in that if there is a minion still up, she'll use the Heartseeker on the minion instead of just using it on the boss. And we don't really want that to happen here, because we can take the boss down a lot faster if she's hitting him with that. So you can see 38 seconds is not as fast as the main account, but there you see Infernal Baroness. We haven't even finished her tier 6 mastery yet, and she's still out here slapping really hard because of that level 10 Great Hall we have in force defense percent. But still a pretty cool team. And before, like I said, my runs on Minotaur for free-to-play were like around 1:30. So now we have this down to a fairly respectable time where we can come in here and farm scrolls, you know, a lot faster than we could before. And since, you know, we don't have the gems on this account to be spending on masteries, it's a lot easier just come in here and farm this when we have some time to do it. But there you go, pretty good run here. We're looking right around a little bit over 30 seconds again, so not too bad. But let's go ahead and take a look at the champions now. We've seen enough runs to see the team in action. Let's go ahead and jump in and take a look at the gear and the setup we have going on here. Alright guys, we're going to jump in here and take a look at the budget Minotaur speed team that we just featured here in the video. Now this is back on the main account. We did show a little bit of gameplay from the free-to-play team that did kind of inspire this. So let's go ahead and jump in here and just take a look at the team presets here. Now we have our first Royal Guard at 204. We have Takedown turned off basically in every round except for round 3. We're going to have him come out and prioritize that on his first turn. Infernal Baroness, all we really do on her is we turn off her Disappear in every single round. That's probably the best thing for her, is this, with the AI changes, you're able to actually turn off this ability, so she's always just putting out damage, which is really good for her as a character. Second Royal Guard we have running at 175, it's a little bit slower. Again, same thing, no takedown on round 1 or 2. I'm going to prioritize it on round 3. Warmaiden is going to open up on round 3 with Crumbling Blast, and then we have it set so she will not use it again in that round, just in case we take too many turns. We don't have her using it at all in round 2, so it is ready to go when we get into round 3 as much as possible. Sometimes the tune doesn't exactly line up, and that's why we get some of those slower runs there with the team. But that's it. Basically 1 rare and 3 epics. You know, hopefully a little bit easier to get for some people since we don't have the legendaries in this team, and that way you can actually run things still pretty quickly, not quite down under that, you know, 8 to 10 second range, but you can still get some pretty respectable times. And the gear on these guys is really not that crazy. You can see here Royal Guard's at 234 crit damage, not crit capped. Infernal Baroness is only at 222. Royal Guard here at 232. So there's definitely a lot of room to improve the nuking ability of this team and get this time even faster if you have better gear on your account. But let's go ahead and we'll just jump in real quick. I like to show off the gear just so people can kind of get an idea that this is not like super amazing, like crazy endgame gear. It's basically just some generally run-of-the-mill stuff that we're using here. You can see Infernal Baroness is kind of in a mixed match set here. She has 1 speed set on her. It's not even rolled up all the way. And look at her total numbers there, 4,200 defense. Now it's odd because, like I mentioned, on my free-to-play account, I actually have higher defense on her, and she does hit harder on that account without her masteries finished. Whereas on this account, I have her all the way down to her tier 6, but it's just because of that Great Hall. It just shows you how big of an impact that is. I have a level 10 force defense on the free-to-play, but on this one I think it's only level 7. So it shows you how much damage we're missing out, that she hits that much harder on the free-to-play account. So you can see here, Royal Guard number 2, we actually did manage to finally get him into some Savage gear, so that does help a little bit with the damage. Again, my account is very challenged when it comes to Savage gear. We just can't seem to get it to drop very often, but that's just kind of what he's running right there. I can show you his masteries here. We do have him in Helm Smasher. Same thing with the other Royal Guard. He's also in Helm Smasher. And this Royal Guard is actually in Broken Gear. So there you go. It's like I was trying to say, you know, it's really tough to come up with a good Savage set for every single nuker on your account, unless you're just farming Fire Knight with an insane amount of energy. Now, we did go ahead and put our Warmaiden in Savage. That way, when she does get that AoE decreased defense off, it does hit pretty hard, helps our Royal Guards kill things faster with both the decreased defense and her doing some additional damage. So she actually hits pretty decently. We're at 108, a little bit over the crit cap there, 145 crit damage, and almost 3,500 attack. So she can punch pretty hard when she has to. That's not what we really want her for. Before I was using her in a stun set just for some dungeon utility, but I figured at this point we're not really using her that much for that anymore since we're moving more to speed teams on the Dungeons 20, so we might as well put her into some Savage gear and go ahead and let her hit a little bit harder to help this team out. So that's kind of a look at the budget Minotaur team. I'm hoping this can help some people out. I do want to try some other things on the free-to-play account to get my time a little bit faster. I do have a husk there I'm thinking about using on the last wave on the Minotaur with his enemy max HP attack, but I have not finished his Masteries yet. I haven't finished Infernal Baroness's Masteries yet either on that account, so that's going to be pretty cool when we can get her down to her tier 6 and be able to do some really good damage with that. So hopefully on the free-to-play, we'll be able to speed that up a little bit. Stay tuned to the free-to-play Friday series. You'll be able to kind of catch up with that and see what we're doing there. But as always, guys, if you have any questions about anything in the video, feel free to leave it down below in the comments. And I'll do my best to get you an answer as soon as I can. As always, hope you guys are having a great day. Thanks as always for watching, and I will see you again next time.